Hey guys, welcome to the Fox 5 Live Zone on a Feel Good Wednesday, hump day at that. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Guy Lambert. Coming up on the show today, if President Trump has his way, a federal takeover could very well get underway right here in the nation's capital. We'll break it all down for you. Hey, did you hear? A local lawmaker crying foul at issue the reinstallation of a statue. Apparently, he says it shouldn't happen. We'll tell you why. And she won the hearts of millions on American Idol. Now she'll win your heart right here on the Live Zone. I'm referring to Gabby Simone, Baltimore's own. She's going to join us in the 1 o'clock hour right here on the Live Zone. But first, how about we talk weather, shall we? Tucker Barnes joins us right now.
Guy, good afternoon.
Yeah, I always get confused. Morning, afternoon.
Well,
Who
you know,
knows around here?
I arrived so early in the morning, I just feel like the whole day's morning. But I guess we're in the afternoon. How are you today?
I'm good. It was not a bad walk-in. A little humid, but
Yep.
you know, no sunshine, so it wasn't too bad.
I'm going to start with a weather fun fact. I know the month of August has just gotten going, but we're currently nearly 7 degrees below average temperature-wise.
Wow.
So, you know, if you're at home or you're out and about and you're like, it feels like fall out here,
Yeah.
or just, you know, where's summer? Not your imagination. We've been running very cool the last week or so.
I kind of like it, Tucker. It's
I
not
do
bad.
too.
Yeah,
Don't get
cool.
used to it. I'll show you the 7-day. We have 90s back by early next week. But let's take it while we got it. Got a cloudy day for your afternoon hours and a couple of showers out there. None of the shower activity locally should be very heavy. If you are off to the south, in fact, let me show you the radar here, and I'll explain what's going on. Okay, 74 degrees, and again, average high is 89, so we're currently running 15 degrees below average for our daytime highs today, although I do think we'll warm it up to about 80 this afternoon, which is still well below average. It is cloudy. Guy mentioned the humidity, which has been creeping up, and you'll feel that later this afternoon. Not terrible, because it's not 95 with humidity, it's 80 with humidity, but
Sure.
Still, you'll feel that. Okay, we have had some showers the first half of the day, mostly to our south. You can see those kind of Calvert County, southern Maryland, northern neck of Virginia, stretching down towards Richmond and now out towards the beaches. That's as far north as the moisture train has gotten so far. But I do think later this afternoon, at least a threat of a few showers. The good news with this, no severe weather, no big-time thunderstorms, no flash flooding, none of that. But there may be a few showers around this afternoon. Help water your lawn a little bit, help water your garden as we get into the late afternoon. Today will kind of be the worst of it. Tomorrow we'll be trending towards more sunshine. We have high pressure to our north, and that will win out the forecast region over the next 24 hours. But if you look down to the Carolinas, you can kind of see some rain shower activity down there. The Hurricane Center is watching for potential tropical development off this South Carolina coast. It doesn't look like it'll probably happen, but some of that moisture is streaming up into our region. That's why we're looking at cloudy skies and more humidity around here this afternoon. 80 degrees for your Wednesday afternoon, and it gets better from here. Now, Guy, here's some good news. You ready for this?
Yep.
Yesterday, it looked like we were going to get some storms Saturday and Sunday afternoon. We have trended drier and more beautiful. So I think we'll have more sunshine and a really pleasant weekend, 85 to 90 Saturday and Sunday, and we'll keep it dry. And then we've got more heat building next week. Look at next Tuesday. Here comes the heat and humidity, 94 by next Tuesday.
Yeah, you're in trouble, Tucker. You know why? You were supposed to bring your tip jar today, especially because of the weekend. So.
Well, we have tomorrow together.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Tucker Barnes, all thing weather, right here on the Live Zone. Hey guys, if you haven't already done so yet, make sure you download the Fox Local app and take that beautiful weather forecast with you on the go. All right, already a busy day right here in the Live Zone. We're following a developing story out of Montgomery County where the police department, any minute now, well, you can see them standing right there, will hold a news conference regarding the arrest of a suspect in the 1995 killing of Officer Campbell. Officer Campbell was found shot to death in her White Oak apartment by her live-in boyfriend. Campbell was a 4-year veteran of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department at the time of her death. That press conference set to get underway any minute now. Our very own Bob Barnard is actually there. We hope to get a report from him momentarily. Yet again, when that happens, we'll take you there live on the Live Zone. Switching gears to politics, President Trump now renewing his threat to federalize the district after a bloody attack of a former DOJ employee. Meanwhile, the president yet again under fire after word of a meeting set to take place where key Republicans will discuss what to do surrounding Jeffrey Epstein. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Madeline Somerville, political strategist, back here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, Madeline. All right,
Good to see you, Guy.
Oh, there we go. I thought perhaps we had somewhat of a delay. Not the case. Always good to have you right here on the Live Zone. Let's jump into this. And we know that the president reignited his threat, if you will, for the federal government to run Good old Washington, D.C. This after a former Doge employee was assaulted in an attempted carjacking. Now, Madeline, the president, in so many words, said if D.C. doesn't get its act together, he will enact a federal takeover. But correct me if I'm wrong, it's not that easy, is it not?
Definitely not. So here's the thing. It's very interesting to see Republicans get behind the idea of federalizing anything when they've spent as far back as I've studied advocating for states' rights. Now, DC is not a state, but it certainly has its own rights as its own governmental entity. And so that's very interesting to me. There are a lot of different procedures that they could go through in order to be able to institute this, but it's going to take a lot of people agreeing on it, and getting my husband and I to agree on where to go to dinner is difficult enough.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this was somewhat interesting to hear the president not only say this time, but say it in the past. It appears that this is something that is really top of mind for him. And yet again, it appears it's something that he really wants to do. But because of the Home Rule Act, it's going to be a lot harder than him just, let's say, doing that with the stroke of a pen.
Oh, certainly. And I also think it's interesting that he's trying to institute this takeover as a result of crime when there's actually been no spike in crime whatsoever in DC. In fact, the crime levels are at the lowest that they've been since COVID. So this is, of course, a tragedy and something that needs to be addressed 100%. One crime like this is too many, and there absolutely needs to be an intervention. But do we need to upset the whole apple cart and rile everybody up in order to do it? I don't think so.
Yeah, and to your point, our own Melanie Alwick reporting earlier today, crime is now down 26% compared to this time last year. Let's move on to the next topic. In this case, top brass within the Trump administration will meet tonight during a dinner on how to address the fallout of the Jeffrey Epstein issue, if you will. This will take place at Vice President J.D. Vance's home. Now, one of the family members of the victims who committed suicide says they should have invited the survivors. Wow. Your response to this?
This is a very interesting point. And just as a strategist in general, I think that what she's saying without saying is tell us whose side you're on. Because if you want to take the side of the victims here, which is the side that we're supposed to be assuming that you're on, um, let's see some evidence of that. Because if all you're doing here is inviting people to try to mitigate the damage that's already happened or prevent future damage from happening, then it doesn't really seem like you're that concerned about what the rest of your base is concerned about. Really, frankly, all of America.
Yeah, but yet again, to think that this is something that's unfolding and that it continues to plague the Trump administration. And now you have, well, let's say, family members of the victims coming forward and saying, you know what, you're not doing enough in order to address this. It's yet again pressing for the administration.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, I think it speaks to a larger issue, which is something that Republicans I've seen in Georgia do as well. And Democrats are guilty of it too. But it's, have you asked the people who this is supposed to help whether this is actually helpful to them? Right? Like with redistricting in Texas, have you asked the people whether their representatives represent what they want and what they think? And so I think it's very important actually to include the people that this issue is actually about when you're trying to solve problems.
All right, you just made mention of the issue or the scenario that's taking place down in Texas. We now know that the congressional map Texas Republicans hope to enact targeted not one, not two, but count them, 5 Democratic-held districts with precision, carefully cutting out blue areas and redistributing them to other districts, which are already safe for either party, and replacing them with, let's say, red turf. Your thoughts on all of this?
So here's the breakdown. You're really supposed to do this every 10 years. And John Adams, when this first started, said that the maps are supposed to reflect the people. They're supposed to look like the state looks in terms of demographics. And that doesn't mean just race. It means socioeconomic status. It means age. It means level of education, because folks who are similar in those areas tend to live in the same areas. So it's important that your congressional representative matches in your beliefs and ideals what you believe. And so drawing these funky lines to try to make it work, actually my husband corrected me. It's not gerrymandering, it's gerrymandering. The guy who created the concept of it, his last name was Gary. And then actually there was a newspaper in 1812 that put the wiggly lines that he had drawn to try to redistrict in this newspaper, and it looked like a salamander, hence Gary Mandering. I looked up the whole thing so I could try to understand the lexicon and the history of it. But that's kind of, it's always been that way. It's always been funky lines. You're allowed to do it for political purposes, which is why it's crazy. It's just usually not done outside of that 10-year difference, right? Because by 10 years from then, the demographics would have changed. It makes sense to edit things. Now, they had just edited maps recently in Texas. So what I think is really interesting is the entire focus is on what President Trump came out and said, which is, we would like 5 more seats, please. And instead of going to the people of Texas and saying, do your Congress people represent you, he's making that decision. I don't understand why people aren't talking about the people who are actually involved here.
Well, I tell you, you learn something new every day. In this case, I went from Jerry to Gary, and because of you, I learned something new. Madeline, will end with this, and that is federal employees will no longer have to meet Elon Musk's demand that they list their weekly accomplishments in an email or risk termination. The move to end the email ultimatum comes roughly 2 months after Musk said his time with the Trump administration had come to an end. Quite honestly, was this really necessary?
You know, I think that if Doge were serious about all of the cuts that they were trying to implement, that maybe they would have cut more than 0.27% of the federal budget. I didn't really take most of Doge seriously. Now, in terms of government efficiency, right, or being accountable for what you're doing during the week, that makes sense. It's just maybe we should have taken a scalpel to what we actually took a hammer to.
All right, well said. Yet again, Madeline Somerville, political strategist, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Truly appreciate your time, Madeline.
Thanks, Guy.
Well, earlier this week, the National Park Service announced that it will restore and reinstall a statue of the Confederate general that was toppled and burned right here in the nation's capital. That took place during the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests following the police killing of George Floyd. The statue restoration aligns with federal responsibilities under historic preservation law, as well as a recent executive order to beautify the nation's capital. That restoration, by the way, has my next guest crying foul. I'm referring to D.C. Representative Dr. Oye Owalewa. He joins us now right here on the Live Zone. Sir, always good to see you and welcome back to the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. It's no secret you have been adamant against this and are now calling on the National Park Service, in essence, to reconsider. Do tell.
Absolutely. What we're seeing right now is the continuation of Trump attacking the Black and brown communities and really using D.C. as his ground zero. Earlier this year, he called for Black Lives Matter Plaza to be removed. He is attacking some of our museums that celebrate different cultures. And right now, seeing or him ordering this statue to be resurrected is just stoking more racial concerns and apprehension with my neighbors and constituents in D.C.
One of the things that you have been vocal about, stating that this, in essence, is a step backwards, but it also, to your point, as you just stated, has a direct effect on the values of equity, progress, and justice that our community continues to fight for. For those that are trying to comprehend that and trying to make sense of that statement, sir, I'm hoping you would elaborate.
Yeah, absolutely. Here in D.C., we're fighting for statehood not to be special, but to be treated like every other resident of a state, like our friends in Maryland and Virginia. But even this year, we're seeing our home rule being attacked. And what our home rule is DC's ability to elect our own mayor, elect our own council. And it seems as if every month when something happens, Trump either tweets out that he wants to take over the city or he mentions it in an interview. And it really seems to put DC residents on the defensive because right now our quality of life and way of life is being threatened every single week by the President of the United States.
With regard to the statue itself, I'm curious, any response from the National Park Service as yet?
Well, I haven't heard any response from National Park Service, but a lot of my neighbors, a lot of my neighbors or friends in other states are very concerned about what this means for DC. The people of the District of Columbia, we're not asking for the statue to be resurrected. We're not saying that we need this to be right there. We honor our history, but we're also seeing a Trump administration that's trying to ban books, that's trying to, silence members of the LGBTQ plus community. We're trying to really take opposition to the very thing that DC values most in this, our diversity.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I saw a soundbite, if you will, of President Trump making the argument that, hey, George Washington happened to be a slave owner. Are we going to rid our country of all things, all statues celebrating George Washington? Your response to that?
Well, it's time to honor our history, but there's ways we can honor our history. We could fund our museums like the Smithsonian. We don't have to censor the Kennedy Center or the Library of Congress. We can tell our whole history, but also put it in the confines of today's culture. Like I said, people of DC were not clamoring to have the statue reinstated. And I don't really believe the people of America were clamoring to have the statue reinstated. And if Trump really cares about public safety, he should give us back our $1.1 billion that Congress is still frozen, because this is what helps improve our public safety. And this helps us maintain our quality of life here. For not just DC residents, but also staffers of the federal government, folks who work in Congress, to make sure we're all safe.
For folks, one more time, that want to find out more information about this and or your plight, your cause, if you will, where you stand, how would one go about to do so?
Absolutely. You can go to our website, repoyedc, repoyedc.com. You can go to our social media, but also reach out to your Congress members, reach out to your senators if you don't live in DC, and talk to them about protecting our home rule. We don't need senators that are not elected by DC residents worrying about trash collection and worrying about how to fix our road safety. That should be left to the people that DC elects, whether it's our mayor, council members, folks like myself, because we are equipped to handle the issues of the people living in the nation's capital. All
right. Yet again, we've been speaking with Dr. Oye Owalewa, kind enough to join us on the Live Zone. Truly appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, as is always the deal, if it's happening now, we're taking you there. In this case, yet again, a press conference from the Montgomery County Police Department surrounding an arrest of a suspect in the 1995 killing of Officer Campbell. Let's take a look in.
Case, and I want to make sure we have the proper names and spelling for everyone who is going to be joining us today. So first off is Chief Mark Yamada of the Montgomery County Department of Police, and that's Mark, M-A-R-C, Yamada, Y-A-M-A-D-A. And then Executive Assistant Chief Andre, A-N-D-R-E, Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. He is the Executive Assistant Chief with the DC Metropolitan Police. We also have Assistant Chief Willie Parker Lone, that's Willie, common spelling, with I-E, Parker-Lone. He is the Chief of the Investigative Services Bureau for Montgomery County Police. We also have John McCarthy, who is the Montgomery County State's Attorney, and detectives from the Major Crimes Division Homicide Section, as well as detectives from the Major Crimes Division Missing Person and Cold Case Section. The detectives who worked on the case were Detective Paula, common spelling, Paula Hamill, that's H-A-M-M-I-L-L, and Detective Steve, common spelling, Smugereski, and that is S-M-U-G-E-R-E-S-K-Y, Detective Steve Smugereski. First up is Assistant Chief Mark Yamada, and you all can come up, please.
Thank you, Shira. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here. Today, as Shira had said, I'm joined by Executive Assistant Chief Andre Wright from the DC Metropolitan Police Department, John McCarthy from our State's Attorney's Office, Assistant Chief Willie Parker Lone, who oversees our Investigative Services Bureau, and detectives from our Major Crimes Division and Cold Case Unit. We are all very pleased to announce the arrest of Amir Jaleel Ali, formerly known as Kenneth Wansum. Mr. Ali has been charged with first-degree murder in connection with a 1995 case involving DC Metropolitan Police Officer Dina Campbell. Mr. Ali was taken into custody on Tuesday in Laurel by Montgomery County police officers on a task force assigned to the U.S. Marshals Capital Area Region Fugitive Task Force, and he is currently being held at the Montgomery County Detention Center. A bond hearing is scheduled for later this afternoon. This arrest closes one of the longest standing cold cases for our department. Officer Campbell was just 24 years old at the time of her death. She was a 4-year veteran with the DC Metropolitan Police Department and assigned to their 7th District. Her death has touched 2 police departments and left a lasting impression on her family, her loved ones, and her fellow officers. I want to recognize the work of our Major Crimes Division Homicide Section and our Missing Persons Cold Case units. In particular, I want to recognize Detective Paula Hamill and Detective Steve Smuglereski, who led this investigation with true grit and determination, finally being able to bring this to closure. Their work and the work of their colleagues show that we never give up, and we do not forget the victims or their families. This case has remained ever present to our investigators, to both of our agencies, and to Officer Campbell's family, her colleagues, all who have awaited 3 decades to find answers. While this arrest won't erase the pain of losing Dina, we hope that it does bring some resolution and sense of peace to everyone involved. I'll now turn it over to Executive Assistant Chief Wright, and after he speaks, Assistant Chief Willie Parker Lone and his team will be available to answer questions you may have about the investigation.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Executive Assistant Chief Andre Wright of the Metropolitan Police Department, and I'm here on behalf of Chief of Police Pamela A. Smith. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to the men and women of this outstanding agency, Montgomery County Police Department, for their tireless pursuit of justice in this case. It is clear that this case weighed heavily on the detectives working in Montgomery County Police Department as it did on our agency. Officer Dina Campbell was just embarking on a promising career with the DC Police Department when the senseless act of violence took place. In her 4 years with our department, Officer Campbell had already proved herself to be a hero in the community she served. In 1993, she selflessly pulled 4 victims out of a burning van on Pennsylvania Avenue. Her actions that day earned her commendations from MPD leaders and praise from her community. Those actions proved Officer Campbell was ready to place the safety of those in the community above herself. Her colleagues in our 7th District at that time remembered her as being energetic and full of life. We recognize that today's news doesn't bring Officer Campbell back to her family, her community, or our department. But we hope this news can bring some form of closure to all of those who have carried the burden of this tragedy for over 3 decades. We will continue to honor Officer Campbell's memory and ensure her legacy lives on within our agency and within our community. And once again, we thank the chief and the detectives that worked so tirelessly to bring this case to closure. It was not only short of impressive, but it was very important, and it brings closure to the men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department as well. So thank you very much, and thank you, Chief.
So we're going to open up the floor for questions. We have Assistant Chief Willie Parker Lone, as well as our detectives. John McCarthy is here. John will not be able to talk about specifics of the case because the bond hearing is this afternoon. But we will open up the floor for approximately 5 minutes to answer questions for you all. Let me just pass the microphone so that it can be heard over our live feed, okay?
This is working. Yeah. Okay. Just when you read the charging documents, it seems like it was pretty clear at the time that the boyfriend was a suspect. What took till today to actually seal this thing? Whoever might be able to ask, John? Or
Let me say, my name is John McCarthy. I'm State's Attorney for Montgomery County. I was not involved in the conversation. There was several State's Attorneys ago, actually. A wonderful man, Andrew Sonner, was the State's Attorney at the time. The decision was made not to proceed in that matter. I was not privy to, nor do I know what the conversation was regarding why the charges were dropped at that point in time. I've been intimately involved with the men and women, and particularly with Paula Hamill and those who worked at the case today. And I'm intimately familiar with what the facts that are in this charging document, and supported the action that was taken by the police today. I can't speak to what happened before. That was 30 years ago, and I was not part of that conversation.
But you're saying, John, he was charged at one point and then the charges were dropped?
Yes, that is correct. He was previously charged. The matter was reviewed previously, and it was dropped. I do not know I don't intimately know what was happened, but there isn't a prior existing charging document. I think if you compare the charging documents, there's a lot more detail and information that's been developed by Detective Hamill and the men and women of the police department today. It's in the document that you will all see at some point in time today. That fleshes out this case, I think, a little bit more clearly than it was at that time.
So because of that new information now,
again, I would ask you, you can for yourself compare the two documents. We'll probably have both of them available to you. And you can see that there's a lot more detail that was developed by the ongoing efforts of the cold case unit and the men and women of this department working today on this matter.
Anybody else?
You guys can hear me? Okay. Josh Chapin from Channel 7. We've been able to speak where anyone can speak on behalf of Officer Campbell's family a little bit, and you know what they've been going through, some resolution, a little bit of justice for them. Anyone can speak to that a little bit.
I can say that Officer Campbell's mother subsequently died after several years after she was killed. Her father is still alive. I spoke to her father, or I have been speaking to her father. I spoke to him yesterday, and the only words that he could get out were, "Thank God."
It must be emotional. I was going to say, I can hear the emotion in your voice. Can you speak to that a little bit, and even just the aftermath of that conversation for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time coming. It will show my age, but I worked in the homicide division in 1995 when this case happened. So I was familiar, although I wasn't initially assigned the case, I was familiar with the case. So over 29 years, I've maintained interest in the case. I'm thankful for our cold case unit, who was also able to investigate over the years the case. And so I would say that, yeah, it's definitely there's a little bit of emotion and a little bit of peace for me.
Mike, WTOP, has there been any other person of interest in this case, or has it always been one person in this case?
There has not been another person of interest.
And the other question too, can I talk about, get just the impact to the DC Police Department when it comes to losing one of your own and having this unresolved for so many years?
Yeah, as you can imagine, Dina's never left the heart and minds of our agency. And several detectives who are very close with her, best friends with her, have always championed and believed that at some point in time this case would close. We always had faith in the homicide department of this agency. And I can tell you that we are very delighted to be able to spread the news to MPD that this case has finally come to closure, and that we can finally have some semblance of peace. But you never get over the loss of one of your own, ever. It's something that stays with you even long past after you retire.
These guys, first questions.
Thanks. Okay. I know we can look at the charging document, but could you share some of the new evidence?
Yeah, I would just prefer that you refer to the charging document because this case obviously needs to go to court, and we don't want to say anything that may not be in there. But the charging document that Detective Hamill filled out is pretty in-depth and provides a lot of information. As Mr. McCarthy said, you can see the difference between that and the original, charging document, so that can easily lay out the additional information that was obtained.
Sorry, I've seen the charging document. It talks about DNA under her fingernail. an ear witness saying he heard the gunshots and someone yell, "I told you not to do this to me." Her co-workers in her part-time job at a McDonald's on Benning Road saying she wanted to break up with him that night, and telling NPD colleagues that she feared for her safety and slept with her service weapon under her pillow. Was that all known then, or can Paula maybe speak to that? Is this some of that new information? What's the disconnect? I haven't seen the old charging document, but the new charging document lays that
Certainly
out.
some of that is new information. I mean, there's been obviously advances scientifically through DNA, so there has been new information over the years. And there also were additional interviews that were done that maybe weren't done initially, and additional information that we learned from coworkers and friends, and not only police officer friends, but witnesses at the scene, and then the witnesses where she worked part-time, and people that were able to shed light on her life and at that time, and the fear that she felt at that time, and the concerns that she had at that time about Mr. Wansom at that time, now Mr. Ali.
Some of those interviews had not been done back then.
When he was initially charged, correct.
Paula, was there a period of time in recent months where you were talking with prosecutors and looking at this case again? I mean, you're intimately familiar with it, where you started looking at the evidence A through Z and realizing you really did have a solid case. Can you speak to that? Was there a point where you realized that if we just put this all together and lay it all out in a document, that it would be clear that there was enough evidence to charge him?
Yes, is the short answer. So over the last more than several months, maybe even up to a year, that we've gone over the case, and sometimes it's good to just start back over and maybe look at it differently. Like, I have a lot more experience now than I did then also. And so it's good to start back over and look at everything again and to see, like, okay, well, what maybe can we look at differently, or what did we not see that we now see, and helped us to be able to kind of put things together and be able to move forward with what we found to the state's attorney's office and to get to where we are today.
We'll take 2 more questions before we wrap.
I just had one more question in regards to Officer Campbell. Can you talk a little about any awards or commendations she received, particularly in regards to that incident you were talking about where she saved people? What awards or medals did she get out of that?
I'm not exactly sure then what commendations, but I do know, in keeping with the standard about agencies, she would have received something similar to a life-saving award, saving several people. Undoubtedly, she would have received a life-saving award, among other commendations that would have come along with such a heroic act.
I'm sorry, can I ask Paula one more question? You mentioned that when the victim's father was notified, his reaction was, "Thank God." Was there a reaction from Mr. Ali when you guys went knocking on his door?
I wasn't present when he was arrested.
No. His reaction? Did he say anything? Did he, you got me, or, I mean?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, that will conclude our news conference. We do have the news release. It has been posted to our website. We do have hard copies of it. Elsa has the hard copies, as well as a booking photo for Mr. Wansom, and she will hand those out to you. Thank you all for coming this afternoon.
And there you have it. As heard by said by the Montgomery County Police Department, it's a long time coming. It appears justice will finally be served. An arrest now made in the 1995 killing of Officer Dina Campbell. Earlier today, or rather earlier this week, a suspect taken into custody. Officer Campbell was found shot to death inside of her White Oak apartment by her live-in boyfriend at the time. Campbell was a 4-year veteran of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department at the time of her death yet again. The live-in boyfriend was previously charged. Those charges dropped. Now, thanks to great police work, they were able to charge him yet again. We were also told that, unfortunately, Officer Campbell's mother is no longer with us. She is deceased. Her father is alive, and upon getting word that an arrest was made, he said, "Thank God." We hope to get an update from our very own Bob Barnard in just a minute. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Time for our Wednesday Talkers, and I can't believe we got this guy in the studio because he is always on the go. Your name shouldn't be Kyle on the mic. It should be Kyle on the go.
You know what? That could be something I could brand next, and I'll make sure we heard it first here with Guy.
Good
all
to
right?
see you, my man.
Good to be seen, man. How you been, bro?
I'm good. It's been a busy week and
Yes.
a lot going on, including some of the topics we're about to discuss.
You know what? Let's go ahead and get into it because these topics are, pretty interesting, but it's definitely given 2025, okay?
Yeah. Now, you nor I, and I'm taking a guess, you're not married, are you?
Oh, no.
Okay, neither am I. So it's going to be interesting with two dudes who aren't married talking about marriage.
But you know what? I'm sure we attended several weddings in a nice suit and tie to understand this topic right here.
This one, boy, does it have a lot of folks talking. So envision this, Kyle on the mic.
Okay, I'm
Let's
listening.
say you're standing at the altar. You're with your bride-to-be.
Okay.
And her name is, let's say, Sarah Jessica.
Okay.
The priest, the pastor, whomever says, you know what, Kyle, do you take Sarah Jessica to be your wedded wife? And you say, I take Jessica to be my wife. Oops, you said the second name. Just one problem.
What?
Your ex-girlfriend happened to be named Jessica.
What are the odds?
So apparently when that happened, she blew it off, said, you know what, the crowd started laughing. Apparently they knew as well.
Jesus.
But the internet is now coming for this this now groom that called his now wife, who has two names, the second name who happens to be his ex-girlfriend.
You know what? I feel like, honestly, it's like this had to be a joke. I mean, this had to be a joke leading up to the wedding when you were dating, engaged, probably like, oh, Jessica is usually his old. So, I mean, but for him to say that, honestly, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It probably was nerves.
Yeah.
And, him just thinking, but it's like, maybe not the right time, but, I mean, internet's going to say whatever they want, but as long as she understands the bride is happy, understands like he didn't mean it like that, and she has a hyphenated name, it's like that's cool. But I mean, for it so ironically being the same name as your ex, it's kind of like yikes.
Yeah, that's a big yikes. To your point, kudos going out to the bride because I've always said this. I think when it comes to weddings, it's the bride's day. It's all about
Literally,
the bride,
it's about
right?
the like happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, and so with that being said, she could have really gotten upset, but I think that it's a testament to that their marriage is going to work out.
Right.
She brushed it off. Look, he married you, girlfriend.
Right. Yeah. Right. He put a ring on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it was as long as the ring was nice and he's treating her well. That's the only thing that matters because unfortunately she doesn't hold no grudges because it'd be that one time you get to argument. Oh, but remember my name was Jessica and I let you slide, so let me have it. And that's when the red flags will start coming back. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of rings, probably he better have bought Jessica that ring from the bubblegum machine.
Jesus. Jeff, and listen, this is how messy social media is. If Jessica's ex-girlfriend comes back and tries to troll this, that's when it's gonna get out of hand, and that's when it'll get messy, and it'll be on Netflix, a new series or something, and she'll be on talking with Guy right here about finessing his fiance.
Oh my gosh, that's a story for you. But if you think that's one, check this one out.
Okay.
So apparently, well, we're all colleagues here, we're all co-workers. Kyle on the mic, and so perhaps it's not happening right now, but perhaps someday, say, you know what, I'm walking down that aisle, I'm gonna get married. Let's say I invite a couple of people over there, but I don't invite you. Are you gonna be a little upset about that? And if you are, that's okay, right? It's just what it is.
It's life. We'll talk about it off air.
Well, guess what? That happened at the workplace for a coworker, and that coworker went straight to HR. Said, you know what, human resources, this made for a very uncomfortable situation right here at the workplace. I didn't get a wedding invite, and Sarah did.
Listen, I feel like, we're in the age where now everybody's so sensitive, but I'm like, the HR is crazy. Like, if it's getting that serious, like, I feel like sometimes we gotta understand that work and personal life balance. Like, if I have a problem with you, like, God, you didn't invite me, let's talk about that off air. But while we're at work doing our job, let's keep it professional. But to go to HR and say it's an uncomfortable work environment, I think you deserve to be laid off.
You know what? I'm with you on that one.
Because now you're giving us more work to do, and you're making this more of like a situation where it's like we have better things to really like cater to in HR. So it's kind of like, all right, just note that when you go to HR again and they don't take it seriously, just know when you first came, it was because of something like that, which is not that serious. I mean, I feel like everybody has feelings, and you can feel a type of way about whatever happens, but to go to HR about that is crazy.
This is beyond crazy, as the well, I would say the Gen Zers say, or maybe you don't say it. It's cray-cray.
It's cray-cray, all right?
The sense of entitlement
to
say
they the Lulu. That's another word, okay? The Lulu. Okay, because come on.
Yeah, it just
That's
doesn't.
crazy.
I can't believe it. But for the record, HR just brushed it off and said, you know what, you guys and gals get back to work.
And that's
It's
part of
not
the reason
that
why you didn't get
serious.
invited in the first place.
I'm with
Because
on
you be
that one.
doing too much. And you be complaining. You be at the altar saying, well, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't want to be sat here. Where's my table? And that's why you wasn't invited. Sometimes you got to look the person in the mirror. What did Michael Jackson say? I'm serving at the man in the mirror. I'm asking you to change your ways unless you're not getting invited to my
gosh,
wedding.
that's
And
funny.
listen, and they'll be the one to be probably the first situation you call a girl Jessica, they'll be the one to kind of blow it out proportion. And that's why they wasn't invited. Guy, I'm mad now. Okay?
Okay, take a breather, because this last one I think you're gonna like. In this case, we're
Okay.
talking about food. That makes me happy.
Come
You
on
too?
now, I'm ready. I'm going to be online in a few minutes. I'm ready.
According to a newly released study, Gen Z relies on social media
Okay.
for meal planning.
All right.
Apparently, 18 to 27-year-olds, 84% say they go to TikTok, 75% say they go to IG.
Yeah.
In comparison, only 32% turn to a traditional cookbook, and 45% chat with family and friends. Is that you?
Yes, I'm all for it. Instagram, TikTok. I listen. Okay, guy, I was doing this last night. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
You see how
listen,
he leaned in?
Yeah, I had to whisper that to you, but I forgot we on air so they can hear me. But yeah, I literally. I went on TikTok. I'm trying to get my life together. So I look at like meal preps. I look at people cooking, simple ways to cook. Chat GPT, what is a simple way to cook a meal?
Yeah.
Breakfast. What like the certain calories? Yeah. I'm like, why not? We're in a more fast-paced society.
I agree.
Where Instagram is now like the place to go to for answers.
Yep.
So why not? I'm a visual learner.
Sure.
You could give me a cookbook and God bless your soul, all right? But if you give me a nice link to like a TikTok or Instagram showing me like ways, meal preps or ways to cook food, I'm here for it because right now the air fryer is my best friend. And if I want to learn how to open that stove or bake something great and know what with the right ingredients or how long to do it, Instagram is my go-to. And like I said, I was doing this last night. And did I cook? No, I didn't. But it's all right though.
Well, Kyle, I'm a lot older than you, but I'll say this: I learned to cook early on. It was just I had to. My parents split up, and I was the oldest of four. And Guy, you better learn how to cook for your family. I love it, man.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: over the past year or two, because I'm just so busy, I now have meal prep. I order it, and it comes directly to the house.
Need that.
I cooked the other day for the first time in months, and I stood there and thinking, oh my God, I forgot how to do all of this.
Right, you need the ingredients, and you need eggs, and then you need flour. And I'm like, I don't be getting flour. I'm like, what, eggs and flour? I mean, we don't need that. Just give me it right there. So let me know that meal prep company.
Okay.
Don't plug it in right now.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you
they got to send me a check first.
Sponsor him, okay? Yeah.
Speaking of sponsor, who sponsored you? Because you are any and everywhere, Kyle. on the mic.
God is good and everything is great. So make sure you all follow me on all social medias. Kyle on the mic. I just wrapped up my first season, my interview series, Stand Out with Kyle. Just got back from Phoenix hosting the World Hip Hop Dance Championship.
Wow, awesome.
And there's more things. Just like I said, Kyle on the mic on all social medias, and just stay tuned because we grinding 2025, okay?
He's grinding also well. Yet again, the one, the only, Kyle on the mic joining us for our Wednesday Talkers right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, just like that, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, join with my guy, your guy. Oh, by the way, the host of Do You Like It or Not, Chris, joining us right here on the LZ.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, my friend.
Listen, I know training camp is going on right now. A lot of attention being paid to the Commanders. They are coming off of what was an excellent season.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of hype surrounding this team. And I just want to start by saying this is the best case scenario for a storyline coming out of training camp, because it could be much worse. Let me just start right there. But the big question a lot of fans, or let's call them social media trolls, have right now is whether mom knows best.
Yep.
Because Jaden Daniels' mom is getting a lot of attention for her role in his life, both on and off the field. Now, how did this all start? We could go way back to last season, but what we're going to do is start over the weekend, because at training camp, Jaden Daniels did an interview with the NFL Network. And during that interview, his mom was standing right by his side, and she weighed in, and they talked about how she's not only his best friend, in addition to his mother, but also his money manager and his agent. That story went a little viral on social media. ESPN analyst Trey Wingo weighed in, saying that his mom needed a hobby. You see his mom standing there right next to him while he does that interview, keeping a close eye on what he said. His mom needs a hobby. Now, the comment section for Trey's post was split. Some people agreeing with him, other people pointing out rightly that she is his agent and money manager. It's not a shock that she would be at training camp. Terry's McLaurin's agent, obviously at training camp, trying to negotiate a new deal. So, Jaden, seemingly unfazed by all of the backlash, he posted a video recently, or a video was posted of him taking his mom on a shopping spree at Neiman Marcus. Now, that got some backlash, quote unquote, as well, because some people said they felt sorry for any future girlfriend or wife that he might have.
Oh, wow.
Because basically what this boils down to is the accusations that Jaden Daniels is a mama's boy, okay? Listen, like I said, if that is the biggest complaint that you have about your star quarterback coming out of training camp, then that is a fantastic situation. But we have seen his mom kind of in his life before. She has spoken openly about how she is there to kind of protect him, especially in this newfound fame and, you know, in the spotlight the way that he is. We saw him at a basketball game one time with a young lady, and shortly after a shot of the two of them sitting next to each other made it onto your TV screen, you saw his mom then sit between them and separate them. So these storylines have kind of been out there for a little while, but we're going to talk about it tonight on Fox 5's Do You Like It or Not? I just posed the question in our broadcast channel of whether this is too much, whether it's crossing any sort of lines when you're mixing family and business. It has worked out very well for some other players. It has also worked out very well for the Kardashians, because as you know, Kris Jenner is momager. That is one of her primary roles in the lives of her daughters, to great success, it could be argued, because we all know who they are, and they have been on reality TV for years. But let me know in that comment section. We're going to read them tonight.
Absolutely.
7:30, Fox Local, and streaming live on YouTube.
By the way, you already know what I'm going to say. I absolutely love it. Forget like it. I'm a mama's boy. I'm the president of the Mama's Boy Club. I really am. And I'm proud of it, daggone it.
Listen, Jaden Daniels is far from the only one. You and Jaden Daniels, far from the only ones out there. But I mean, you know, there are some famous stories out there of wives and mothers-in-law who have butted heads over the men in their life. So you know what you're signing up for.
Good stuff. Yet again tonight, 7:30, right here on Fox Local. If you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app so you can check out my man Chris. And while you're at it, you too can take part in the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
You got it. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, as we embark on a new football season, the mindset of various NFL players happens to be top of mind, not only for me, but well, let's just say America as a whole. However, for years, there happens to be one player that was shrouded in controversy. I'm talking about the national media has been, well, let's just say left unchecked for its careless, incomplete, and often inaccurate portrayal of none other than Todd Marinovich. You remember him. Who could forget him? Now, for the first time, Todd tells his story in his own words. And nothing, let me repeat, nothing happens to be off limits. He does so in the book, Marinovich, Outside the Lines in Football, Art, and Addiction. It's a brutal look at the tragedy of addiction, and it details the one-time prodigy's athletic highs in high school and college and his subsequent lows. Please welcome the author, none other than Lizzie Wright. Lizzie, good to see you and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Guy. It is a pleasure to be talking to the city that shaped me. DC is the city I call home. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.
And as you just put it, DC is where you hail from, so I have to ask, how in the heck did a DC gal ended up talking about a guy that played football on the West Coast?
Absolutely. It is, really, it's a story that I was so fixated on knowing the media's portrayal of Todd. My husband was a teammate of Todd's. And after I finished writing my first book with some success, Todd was interested in sharing his story because he did feel that it's not often portrayed with accuracy. And this was a project like none other. The story almost wrote itself. There are so much behind the scenes that I can't wait for folks to hear about and see.
Well, for those of us who, let's say, are hearing about Mr. Marinovich for the first time, and yet again, I don't know how that could be, I'm hoping you could elaborate. Tell us the backstory.
Sure. So Todd was America's first test tube athlete and often referred to as the robo quarterback. The story, as portrayed in the Marinovich Project 30 for 30, is that Todd was largely a manufactured quarterback with enormous success. And frankly, the sky was the limit in terms of his talent. However, there was a deep, dark underbelly of addiction that really led to his demise.
And with that being said, I know for quite some time, as you heard me make mention, the media, let's say, didn't do a good job of portraying him, didn't do a good job of telling his story. Now you've had the amazing opportunity to do just that. I'm curious, was it easy for Todd to open up to share that story?
So I only want to work on projects with athletes who are willing to go raw, brutally honest. There's stuff in this book that was painful for Todd to even share with me, but I insisted that we tell the unvarnished truth. And I got very lucky that Todd, it was a time in his life where he was willing to expose himself because he felt that football gave him the platform. And now it was about affecting people's lives and talking about addiction and talking about his journey.
And so with that being said, yet again, I'm just truly amazed that this all was able to come to play. I'm truly amazed that you were able to really get the inside scoop when, well, quite honestly, as a journalist, I mean, we all chomp at the bit to do just that, and you did just that. I always love when I get the opportunity to speak with an author, and that is your biggest takeaway, and perhaps that came in your most important chapter.
Yes. You know, the biggest takeaway for me around Todd's story is have the bravery to speak your truth, to live your truth. And if more of us do that in the world today, it will be a better world. We will be open, honest, and more compassionate. And writing this book made me more compassionate about addiction, better understanding the challenges people face day in and day out. Todd, just yesterday, when we were signing books, said to me, the mornings and the evenings every day are the hardest part. I want people to know they're not alone, that Todd shares in their journey.
Yeah, gosh, what an amazing story and what a great opportunity for you, and how lucky are we that we now get a chance to better understand that story because of you and Todd. We'll end with this, and that is, I want to touch yet again on the quote-unquote robo QB and him being the first test tube athlete. Let's just be real. I can think of several athletes in this day and age that are perhaps yet again dealing with just that.
Exactly. And frankly, the compassion that I was talking about earlier, if we can, as people, accept we're flawed and accept that, this idea that anyone is manufactured, if we really dig in and try to understand the person, we are better for it. So the labels of robo quarterback or whatever is the latest flavor of the day, if we understand the person, we will better understand their journey and what has shaped them.
Well, yet again, because of you and because of Todd, perhaps you have both made that somewhat easier, and we truly appreciate that. The name of the book entitled Marinovich, Outside the Lines in Football, Art, and Addiction. You see it right there on your TV screen. Of course, we have been speaking with author Lizzie Wright. Lizzie, before I let you go, folks that want to grab a copy of the book, how would one go about to do so?
Absolutely. Come on to my website, LizzieWright.com. We just released yesterday, #1 new release. So thrilled to see people's reactions and the feedback.
Absolutely.
So LizzieWright.com.
Good stuff. Congratulations. Continued success to you. We'll
Thank
take a
you,
quick
Guy. I
break,
appreciate
guys.
it.
You're welcome. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, my next guest truly has a story made for a movie. If only we had the movie music right now, that would help. You see, she's a rising star, but it's how she was discovered that's got everybody a-talking. Shall I say, social media. You see, she was singing her heart out on IG, and the rest is history. She was then invited to do her thing on the Jennifer Hudson Show, only to then appear on American Idol, season 23, where she was a top 7 finalist. Now she's taking her talents on a road tour with stops in New York City, Boston, Atlanta, and Philly. Yes, she needs no introduction. Please welcome Charm City's darling, Gabby Simone, now joins us right here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, Gabby, and welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you. It's good to see you.
I got to tell you, I am just so proud of what you've been able to do. I always have to ask, when someone in your position, at what age did you know not only that you could sing, but you could sing?
When did I realize I could sing? My whole family sings. So I just thought it was regular. I thought everybody could sing. So pretty much all my life, I thought I could sing. I knew I could sing.
That's so funny. I'm just sitting here thinking that perhaps, mom, dad, everybody, as you stated, in the whole family happens to be singing a tune.
Yes, the whole family sings.
And so I'm so curious, you know, so many folks take to social media in this day and age and well, let's say they're discovered, but yet again, you really have to, well, put your heart on the line because there are so many folks that are so mean on social media, yet everyone embraced you and loved what you did.
Yes. So social media is a big deal. And, you know, there's a lot of different opinions, but I think if you just stay true to who you are and stay authentically you, nobody's opinion really matters. And I think throughout this whole experience, I stayed true to who I was. And it starts with self-love. So I just continue to love on myself throughout this whole experience.
Well, you know who else is loving you? Of course, Charm City. We're talking about Baltimore. You hail from right up the road from right here from D.C. Have you had
down the street, yes.
have you had the opportunity to really go home and let's just say truly enjoy what it is to now be a star while surrounded by family and friends?
You know what? Baltimore is my home, and every time I come here, I just feel so loved. Even just outside of my family, I feel like Baltimore really looks out for their people, and it's just been amazing coming back here and just being around my family and my friends and those and my supporters. They're like my home team, so I really appreciate them. Baltimore is where I grew up from. So
Yeah.
yes.
And yet
been
again,
amazing.
Baltimore is so proud of what you've been able to do. Speaking of being proud, how about America is proud? Because, girl, you did your thing on American Idol. It was funny. I was sitting there and I watched some of the videos, right? You know what the best part is? When you started, there were so many, I would say, naysayers. There were so many folks, yeah, let me see what she could do. And then you would see it in the crowd. Everyone, oh my gosh, look how great this girl is. Did you feel that during the show?
Yes, it was definitely like I grew throughout this whole experience. I started off extremely nervous. This experience was extremely nerve-wracking, but throughout this whole process, I found myself growing into this confident young woman. And I saw the audience grow with me. They began to love on me, and just support me even more throughout each competition, throughout each round.
Yeah. All right, so Gabby, you have something that a lot of us don't have, and that is the American Idol experience. So, you know, for years we all sat at home, got a chance to watch it, we turned it on. Oh, I wonder what's really happening here, and I wonder what's happening there. Was it everything you thought it was going to be?
It was everything and more. It was a lot. It was so much fun, though. I can't really complain. It was a lot of work, but I met some amazing people throughout this whole experience. You know, sometimes I go around and I have friends that's not really doing the same thing that I'm doing. So to meet a whole group of people who want to do the same thing, who has the same drive as me, was amazing. And it was extremely life-changing. And I have lifelong friends. And I just know just a little bit more about production. A lot goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't get to see.
Yeah, like when I was just scratching myself while we had you full screen so you couldn't see me do it. So, Gabby,
I didn't see anything.
well, thank you. Now you're taking the show on the road, and I'm just so excited for you because it's all about you now. I mean, obviously we got a chance to see you on American Idol, but now you get to show the world who you are as a solo artist. So, what can we expect when we get a chance to check you out in, what is it, New York, Philly, and everywhere else under the sun?
Yes. So first of all, I'm just extremely excited to share who I am and who I've become as an artist with the world. American Idol was one thing, but this show is all about me, like you said, and this shows who I am as an artist. My first stop is ATL, and I will be just sharing some of my original music and also doing some covers that that you guys fell in love with, that my fans fell in love with. You're gonna get the best of both worlds, but you're gonna see who I am as an artist this time.
Yeah, we are really excited about this and just really excited for you. Job well done. We'll end with this, Gabby, and that is there are so many young ladies watching this right now saying, you know what, I have a dream too. Girl, I can sing, but they just haven't had the platform to do just that. Some encouraging words perhaps you could share to that young lady that wants to follow in your footsteps.
I would just say, be you. Love yourself. It starts with you. So love yourself completely and just be consistent and work hard, because this is not something that you can just, you know, fly through. You have to work hard. So just stay consistent and work hard and be authentically you.
Well, she's authentically her. She works hard, and yet again, she can sing. I'm talking about Gabby Simone joining us right here on the Live Zone. Congratulations yet again. Of course, you can check her out. You see it right there on your TV screen, August 12th, beginning in the Atlanta, the ATL. Of course, you can't forget about Philly, New York City, Boston. Gosh, girl, you are busy. The Women's Expo and on and on. The main thing is that she joined us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Congratulations. Continued success to you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, we are continuing to monitor a developing story out of Georgia, Fort Stewart, to be more precise, where 5 soldiers were shot today in an active shooter incident at a combat area yet again at Fort Stewart. All soldiers were treated on site and moved to a hospital for further treatment. We can also tell you that there is no active threat to the community at this very moment. Law enforcement was dispatched for a possible shooter. That shooter, we now know, has been apprehended. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Arif Halaby. He is a law enforcement analyst and former LAPD retired officer. Arif, always good to see you. I wish it happened to be under better circumstances.
Yeah, thank you, Guy. What a tragedy. This is one of many over the last decade or so shootings that have occurred in and around military bases, and not really sure why. I mean, there's a few reasons to think, right? Military bases themselves are just like regular towns and communities. You have lovers' triangles, you have disputes, you have mentally ill folks that work and both in and off the military base that come on board through various reasons. Just yesterday, or the last few days, I guess, it was August 1st, there was a shooting right outside of Tucson, an Air Force base in Tucson at 2:30 in the morning. Somebody tried to ram through the gate. They wouldn't stop. Security forces, Air Force security forces shot that person and stop the threat. So you see that all the way back to 2009, 2009, November. Major Hassan, if you remember that, in Fort Hood, Texas, shot and killed 13 people. And this was a psychiatrist, not a psychologist, psychiatrist, which means he was an MD, very educated person. So he wasn't just, some private off the street here. This is a very educated person. So there's various reasons. His was ideological. He was a Muslim and didn't like the way the United States was handling things in that region. So that was his motive.
Arif, what does it say that we now live in a day and age where a lot of us have just become somewhat mute to this? Meaning, just another day, just another active shooter. I remember a time, and I'm thinking about the Columbine shooting when, dear God, the world stopped. Now it appears as though this continues to happen on not an everyday basis, but it's become something of the norm, if you will.
Yeah, think of it as a macabre version of the 4-minute mile. Once you realize you can take that you could take weapons onto a military base hidden, because I've been on a military base. I have a member of my family who's in the military, and they don't really search your car. I mean, they look at it, but they don't go through the nooks and crannies like we do when we were doing a traffic stop, or when I was working some of the undercover buy details and we were doing some suspect searches. Sometimes you would tear apart the cars. Watch some of the television shows, how these folks come across the border with narcotics. That when the dogs hit on those vehicles, they tear those things apart. That does not happen on a military base, nor does it happen on a school campus where they go through your backpack. So when Columbine occurred and people realized they could carry weapons onto a school campus, it kind of opened the floodgates, just like with Major Hassan and others. There's been others. I don't know, it might seem like, a very unpopular solution to this. And I'll tell you what it is, Guy. I think you have to allow qualified men and women to carry firearms on a military base that are already trained to go overseas and take the lives of other people. That's their job. It's to protect the United States. Why do we make them put their firearms away and be sitting ducks on a military base? I'm not sure. I don't mean every person, but just like in a community or in a town, you have some men and women that are allowed to carry firearms, CCW. I think that should be allowed. Otherwise, these men and women are sitting ducks where they can't defend themselves.
Yet again, 5 soldiers shot today on at Fort Stewart, that is in Georgia, in a combat area. Arif, you are, as we stated earlier, a law enforcement analyst and former LAPD retired police officer. The shooter has now been apprehended. Can you tell us or walk us through what is happening right now with regard to that shooter? I would assume, obviously, being now placed in a restricted area. And is it at this moment that, let's say, an interrogation would get underway?
Probably not an interrogation at this point. When I was an academy instructor for the Los Angeles Police Department, we would do various scenarios, including this type of a scenario. It wasn't quite this prevalent, but the lockdown, the very beginning part would be this. The first step is you lock him down, isolate him. And then you start going backwards. Where did he park his car? Who did he speak to last? You start dissecting the cell phone and electronic communications. You go back to his home. Who does he know? What family members, what other friends influenced him either to do something or to not do something, to start a problem with the military, or maybe his problem goes into just a personal relationship. Look, some of these men and women, you're very tight, you're very close to them, and you build emotional and sometimes sexual relationships, and that can lead to very dramatic swings of emotion. And I see that regularly in military men and women, just like any other business. So I think they're going to lock him down. They're going to start going backwards. There'll be a search warrant to his home, his barracks, if he's a military personnel person. Look, there's a lot of civilians that work on military bases. People don't realize the background checks are mildly interesting. I mean, they're there, but I think it's a lot more bark than bite when it comes to the impact and the influence. Just my opinion on that. I have some background as a background investigator for LAPD. I did that for a bit as well. There are certain backgrounds that people do in order to get the various secret clearances. But to join the military, there's not a lot of background investigations that are done to put you in that position.
Yet again, our thoughts and prayers are now with the families of the 5 soldiers who were shot earlier today at Fort Stewart in a combat area. We've been joined by Arif Halaby, law enforcement analyst and former LAPD retired, yet again joining us on the Live Zone. Arif, I know this was last minute. Truly appreciate your time, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you, Guy. I appreciate you.
You bet.
Be well.
All right, guys. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Giving back in a major way. That's exactly the case for the Greater Washington Urban League, who, by the way, they have been doing that for 85 plus years. Count them. You see, the Greater Washington Urban League is driving progress and elevating the black community right here in the D.C. area. Now they have embarked on several initiatives to continue doing just that. Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Miss Kimberly Corbett. She is the Chief Administrative and Financial Officer for the Greater Washington Urban League and happens to be my friend as well. Joining us on the Live Zone. Always good to see you, Kimberly. Welcome to the show.
You too. Thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you, Guy, for all of the years that you have supported the Greater Washington Urban League and connected us to the community and allowed us to share all the amazing work that we're doing. And so thank you.
Oh, but of course, I'm an Urban League kid. Why would I not? So,
exactly.
Kimberly, you all are quite busy over there. In this case, I can't believe I'm saying this. Today happens to be the first day of school in Culpeper. Fast forward to, well, let's just say in a couple of days right here, closer to D.C., or rather in D.C., gosh, kids are going to be going back to school. And so you all said, you know what? We want to make sure we look out for kids in a major way. And I'm referring to the 13th annual Back to School Health and Wellness event. Do tell.
Oh, yes. It is one of amazing events that we do. It's on August 23rd. There you go. It is at the Second Baptist Church, Southwest. And we will be there from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Like I said, we've been doing this for over a decade, but it's really for the entire family. We believe in uplifting families. And one of the ways in which we do that is to help parents prepare themselves and their children to learn and to make sure that they actually enjoy the act of learning. So we will have an event that has entertainment, back to school supplies, a book for everybody, a fidget toy for all the kids. But as important, we will have health and wellness for the parents, for the kids, whether it's vaccinations, checking on your cholesterol or your heart rate. But also important is we can fix the brain too. We can actually have healthy brains too for both our children and ourselves. So we will have Ask a Therapist, a free session, 15 minutes session for any parent or any student who wants to just ask about how they're feeling.
Wow.
And check on their emotions. So we're excited for this event.
Yeah, it's no secret, Kimberly, when it comes to, let's say, mental health, well, within our community for so many years, we just swept it right under the rug. I am so happy that you all are taking the bull by the horns, as they say, and really taking this on and addressing just that. Speaking of addressing issues, another one that, well, to be honest, swept under the rug, fatherhood. In this case, you all have a program dubbed Black Fatherhood Blueprint Program.
Yes. Amazing. So many programs, what we realized is that there's so many programs out there for mothers. There are lots of programs out there for children. But when you ask a Black father what's out there for him, it's very little. But yet, and there's this, stereotype somehow that Black fathers are Rolling Stones and they're absent or they're, optional. And none of that is true. 60% of Black men actually spend more time or are with live with their children and spend a lot more time with their children than most people think. So we thought if we're really going to have true impact on the organization, on the communities, then one of the things that we had to do was look at families, not just individuals. And one of the things we realized, especially in the Black community, is the Black father has been systematically removed from the family, which has endangered the students and the children and has certainly stretched the health and wellness of the custodial parent. But a lot of programs out there are focused on his wealth and not his wellness.
Yeah, well, yet again.
And we want to focus on his wellness and his mental health. And
I'm
that's
so
what our
glad that you all are doing
program's
this.
gonna start with.
So important, Kimberly. We'll end with this, and I got about a minute left, and that is the DC Art All Night. Oh my gosh, I am so
Art
excited
All
about
Night.
this. Do tell.
Yes, so thank you to the mayor for having a citywide event that celebrates culture, that allows all of us, no matter what our heritage is, to celebrate each other's creativity. And we will be doing our session at the Riggs Park. And so we expect everybody to come out on September 13th, enjoy art, enjoy music, and enjoy each other.
Well, I tell you one thing, I've enjoyed you joining me right here on the Live Zone. Yet again, we have been speaking with
As
Kimberly
always.
Corbin. Always good to see you. Continued success. You
You
guys
too.
and gals do great work over there.
Thank you.
You bet. How cool is that, guys? Well, it's a chronic condition that continues to plague millions of Americans. I'm referring to ADHD. The disorder is characterized by hyperactivity, concentration issues, and being impulsive, which leads to significant academic, professional, social, and, well, let's just say, challenges overall. My next guest has developed strategies to enhance the lives of individuals struggling with ADHD and executive functioning skills. Now she's launching a cutting-edge app for people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Pleased to welcome Brandeis alum and author Hannah Bookbinder on the Live Zone. Hannah, good to see you and welcome to the show.
Nice to see you, Guy. Thank you for having me.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
It is Bookbinder.
Very good.
But
I
it's
stand
close.
corrected.
I've been called worse. It's good.
Well, we're just happy to have you here, Hannah. I got to say, congratulations, kudos going out to all that you have done. It's not every day you get a chance to meet someone that created an app, in this case, an app that's going to help so many people.
Yeah, I'm very excited to bring it to the public and to, find another way to help people to address this very challenging issue.
And so it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's called My Toad. And also, actually, it's available right now. But what is it exactly that you're looking to do and get across with regard to once I download this?
So TOAD stands for Time Management, Organization, Accountability, and Dialing In. And the point of creating this app was to have a one-stop shop, one place where people can come and they can organize their time and develop a sense of time management, where they can begin to organize themselves, not just their physical belongings, but also their thoughts, and to be able to hold themselves accountable by being able to reach out to other people. We have an SOS feature that has a prefabricated option to send out a text to somebody. So Guy, if you were working on a report, maybe you just wanted to be held accountable a little bit, you would send me a text to let me know, hey, Hannah, I'm working on this, just wanted to let you know. On the other hand, if you wanted me to check in with you because maybe this was a really difficult project, then you would ask me to send you a text by such and such a time and date, and I would do that, and that would hold you accountable for what you were doing. And then the dialing in part is the last part of our suite of tools, and that allows you to just kind of build your focus. And right now what we're featuring is a get set timer, which allows you to develop that sense of time and to also set off increments of time where you can work and take a break and then go back again. Or you can just use some ambient noise and music in the background to help to quiet the noise that many of us always experience.
This is awesome. Once again, high five going out to you. I absolutely love this.
Thank you.
So for those of us that are really still trying to wrap our heads around this, and what I mean is that there are daily challenges that folks with ADHD face, and I'm hoping you can elaborate so those that still aren't familiar can have a better understanding.
Well, ADHD is a neurological disorder. It really makes it difficult for people to do things like keeping track of their personal belongings, their appointments. A lot of people experience time blindness. They either overestimate or underestimate how long a particular task is going to take them. A lot of people get distracted when they have ADHD, and you'll find that with kids in particular, they might start acting out. But that acting out might be a way for them to cover up the humiliation that they're experiencing because of these difficulties. Or it might be because they have this one pressing thought that they need to contribute to the professor or to the teacher who's talking, and they just got to get it out there before they forget.
Wow.
So it's not, oftentimes people who have ADHD are mislabeled as lazy, defiant, not motivated, when in point of fact, it's quite the opposite.
And because of your app, and want to make sure we plug your book as well, you've been able to bring more awareness to this. Well, you see it right there on the TV screen. Do tell.
So my motivation for creating the book actually preceded the app, and I work with a lot of high school and college students who struggle with the difficulties that come with ADHD. So I really wanted them to know that somebody like me hears them and understands them, because while there are so many wonderful books out there that are written about ADHD, they don't really speak to the student's experience. So very frequently they feel invalidated, and that was the whole purpose of my writing this book. And I also furthermore wanted them to know that I very much view them as superheroes, because these people are some of the most resilient, resourceful, compassionate individuals I've ever met. And all they need is just a little bit of support and an opportunity, and they can be setting sail and meeting with success.
You just made mention of a superhero. Hannah, perhaps you need to look in the mirror, because that's you as well.
I appreciate that, Guy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yet again, we have been speaking with Hannah Bookbinder, author, and actually, well, let's just say she founded, spearheaded, started none other than the My Toad app, which is available right now. Hannah, truly appreciate you being patient and coming on the show.
My pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity, Guy.
You bet. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, Poet Taylor joins us. A little celebrity dish coming up next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Let's have a little fun, shall we? I'm talking about Celebrity Dish. In this case, Poet Taylor from WPGC Midday Shenanigans back here on the Live Zone. What's up, my friend?
Hey, Guy, International Man of Mystery. It was so dope hanging out with you yesterday.
It was truly awesome.
We night out with the time.
Yeah, we celebrated National Night Out. We were at Hillcrest. Temple Hills, Oxon Hill, you name it. But it was really cool. Got a chance to meet and mingle with all the great folks that came out there. It's just so funny, Poet. We're both so busy. I don't think I've seen you in person for, gosh, months. But yet, I would consider you one of my closest colleagues and friends at that.
So what does that tell you, Guy? We need a date. And not one because we passing the mic on PPC or because we doing this. I need a date with my International Man of Mystery. But y'all can see how the aunties ran up on Guy. Ooh, Guy, I love you. This hair, this suit, yes.
It's too funny. Yet again, we truly appreciate all of our listeners at PGC and all of our viewers right here at Fox 5. All right, Poet, let's jump into it. In this case, we're going to kick it off with the nominees for the 2025 MTV Video Music Awards. We touched on this yesterday, but this is so good, daggone it, we got to touch on it again. In this case, Lady Gaga leads the pack with, count 'em, 12 nominations, including Video of the Year, Artist of the Year and Best Album. Then there's that guy known as Bruno Mars. You know what? I've just been talking too much, Poet. Followed closely behind with 11 nods in Kendrick Lamar. I got that name right. How about 10 nods? Beyonce and Taylor Swift, can't mess that up, are both up for Artists of the Year once again. And the ceremony takes place September the 7th. And so with that, let me stop yib-yabbing and let you chat, Poet. What say you?
Well, I'm happy because for once I got the VMA nominations and I was like, all right, because Gaga did her thing. Bruno most certainly did. We know Kendrick ruled the world the whole year. We will never, ever discredit Beyonce, not in real life or on her internet. And I've been a Swiftie for quite some time, whether y'all like that or not. It just is what it is. My father raised me to love good music, period. I do also think God ain't playing with us. They know what they doing by putting Beyonce and Taylor up against each other again. We're going to be tuned in with snacks, having viewing parties. They viewership going to go up, and I'm not mad at all because this is what I live for. People being celebrated in real time and us being here to celebrate it. Now, I do want to see where like Doechii fell on the list because there's some artists that I feel like could also get a little shine, but I'm here for this. I'm here for this show, but now I just want to see who's performing. Because that can make or break if I really watch it or just watch what people put on social.
Yeah, which leads us to our next topic, Poet. And it's like you got a crystal ball in front of you because you kind of knew. In this case, we're talking about Britney Spears. Word is she's going to hit the stage. Not. According to MTV and TMZ reports, well, she was never approached by producers and was never on the performers list. Perhaps Britney's most memorable VMAs moment was back in, dear God, was it that long ago? 2001, when she performed I'm a Slave for You with a large snake draped over her shoulders. So, Poet, I got to tell you, I wouldn't mind seeing Britney Spears hit the stage yet again.
I want y'all to remember where y'all heard this first. Me and Guy, Fox 5 Live Zone. I think that's a ploy. I think Britney about to pop out. I don't know if she's going to dance with knives and a little bikini, but I feel like they didn't want that secret out the bag. So they're going to be like, no, she not performing because why wouldn't you have her pop out at the VMAs? Why, in some form or fashion, we're going to get a Britney Spears sighting, and I'm calling it right now. If I'm wrong, Guy Lambert is buying all of us sandwiches from Roman Reigns.
Hey, don't put me on that. I'll say this. If she does pop out, to your point, okay, so she did it with a snake. What can beat that, Poet? I mean, she'll have to enter the stage with, let's say, a lion, tiger, or bear, oh my.
Hey, hear me out. Village, hear me out. So many people have sampled Britney songs. Most recently, Coco Jones, Taste. What if they came out and did kind of a medley tribute to her, which ended with her being on stage based on people who are out right now that have sampled her works over the past couple years? I'm really in the wrong business. Wait a minute.
No, you're definitely in the right business, Poet, because you do it oh so well. Speaking of oh so well, I'm wondering, do you kiss and tell, Poet? Is that something you prescribe to?
No, because if you kiss me, you'll fall in love with me. So I don't be out here just kissing anybody. Your mouth is German. So you better know you kissing before you kiss.
Well, guess who's doing just that? Sheena Shea name-dropped her best celebrity lover during a recent interview. The Vanderpump Rules alum revealed that, you ready for this? Shamar Moore was one of her best Hollywood hookups. Wow. What say you about that, Poet?
He's fine. He aged like Nia Long. Like on the male side of things, Shamar Moore has been able to get it from the stories, even when he had on that funny looking wig in one of the movies, to SWAT to now. Yeah, I believe that. And now I'm about to go creep on his Instagram and vicariously live through her life and hookup. Hello, Shamar Moore. I'm sure you're watching. Hey.
This is not surprising. Look, a lot of things happen in Hollywood. You know, what I would say is, yet again, why not keep that between them? Why tell the world all of that? If anything, it's perhaps because she wants her star to rise. I mean, his is already at a level where it really doesn't need any, let's say, name dropping.
Not at all, but I'm saying right now she's being talked about on the award-winning, critically acclaimed Fox 5 Live Zone with the award-winning Guy Lambert. I mean, I think she understood the assignment pretty well and passed the vibe check. Would we be talking about her or Vanderpump Rules if she had not?
All right, Poet. Yeah, you got a point. All right. And with that, we'll end it with this. And that is, speaking of too much information, Calvin Harris recently shared graphic photos of, get this, Poet, his wife's placenta being turned into pills. Can you say, ew? Calvin and his wife welcomed their first child together this week. Taking to Instagram, he posted, well, let's just say a number of photos to share the exciting news. Among the photos included a close-up of his wife's placenta that was later turned into pills. Are you here for this, poet?
Yeah, that's a natural thing that your body does. The fact that she is able to give birth, we should celebrate that. And it's not like we don't know that people be turning placentas into facials and everything else. I thought you was about to go with another P word, and I was about to say, well, wait a minute now. Maybe you shouldn't be doing all of that. I'm happy that it was placenta. And that's science. I'm a Black girl nerd, so things like that intrigue me. I'm more wanting to know, how do you turn that into a pill, and what happens once you take it, and why you take it. Now, Guy, you sent me down a rabbit hole when we wrap this. I want to know.
I don't want to know, but what I do want to know is what you have on tap this weekend. I got a text from you, I guess about 10, 15 minutes ago. I wasn't able to get the flyer for you, poet, but do tell what you got going on.
Okay, so for 6 years on WPGC Inside Midday Shenanigans, I've done the Buy Black Spotlight, where we spotlight a Black-owned business absolutely free every Friday, 12 noon. Where the Moxie for Black Business Month, which is August, decided to do a pop-up K Street Northwest. Who did they reach out to for Black-owned businesses? Me. So former Buy Black Spotlights are popping up this Friday in August, and on August 30th, where you can come shop, fellowship, DJ, giveaways, community fellowship. They're not being charged. It's absolutely free. And it's a way to elevate the Black-owned businesses and local businesses right here in DC that could really use this look. So I'm honored for people to think of me. I'm honored for those who are going to show up, have a good time. We have another pop-up on the 30th. So if you're a Black-owned business and that sounds like something you want to be a part of, I'm here. Slide into my DMs, baby. Especially if it's my move.
Hey, poet, we know that's not a problem for you. We truly appreciate you joining us yet again on the Live Zone for Celebrity Dish. We'll chat soon, poet.
Look forward to
That
it.
girl
Thank you.
is off the chain. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. So when you say put it in the pocket, what does that mean? Oh, we're talking all things go-go. And where was go-go founded, and where does it belong, and where does it hail? Right here in the nation's capital. Of course, I'm talking about Washington, D.C. But wait, there's more. Go-go now going on the road yet again. I'm talking about the Go-Go Museum All-Stars headlining the Jazzy Summer Nights. Where is that taking place at? You see it right there in Baltimore, out of all places. Joining us to tell us all about it is a man who really needs no introduction. Talking about Ron Moulton, of course, Don't Mute DC, and so much more. And hey, look who he's joined with, none other than Go-Go legend Trey, both of which kind of hop on right here on the Live Zone. Ron, always good to see you. Trey, glad to have you on the show for the first time.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having
me.
No doubt. So, Ron, I got a chance to bump into you. Gosh, I can't. A couple of days ago, we just do so much. It's hard to remember. And one of the things that you were just so happy about is
Rammy.
That's what it was. The Rammies. Okay, like I said, we're so busy. But one of the things that you touched on is the opportunity to really continue to allow go-go to thrive and being given a platform to do just that. And that's exactly what's going to happen during Jazzy Summer Nights, August the 7th.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a great night. We work with Brother D. Chase and Finney, the Finn Group. And this production will have the Queens of Go-Go with the Go-Go Museum All-Stars, along with DJ Farrah Fawcett and others from Baltimore. It's going to be a magnificent event in the 25-year finality of Jazzy Summer Nights in Baltimore.
Yeah. Ron, I'm thinking yet again, let's think about go-go in essence, in it obviously being founded right here in the nation's capital. To think now that there happens to be a museum that's all things go-go, and now in essence, it's really just spreading and going on the road, in this case, right up the road to Baltimore, that's yet again got to put a smile on your face.
Yes, well, our goal is to use music like our ancestors did to unite people, to have conversations, to bring joy, even during some trying times. We're bringing people together. This event is not just the last. We're also bringing back Unifest, where Baltimore is going to come to D.C. and the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March. So all these things are coming together, and it's starting with this event right here, Baltimore, D.C., uniting the Beltway with our music, our culture, and our history. And what better time to do it?
Trey, I can tell you there have been many times where I have been, let's say, eating lunch, eating dinner at a restaurant. Let's say stop by a bar. Let's say I happen to be in a nightlife spot, and all of a sudden I hear this song, and this song is known as Sexy Lady. And what happens every time? All the world stops.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing.
What does it mean to you, though, to know that I would argue that within go-go, and if folks are thinking about it, that song, it's just so significant. It continues to be so popular so many years later after you recorded it.
Absolutely. I mean, I just think it's a blessing from the Most High, and I was just a vessel to be able to bring it to life. But you know, that was always our goal when we were young, was to try to reach a national stage and a national audience. And I think that we succeeded in that, and we actually we have something that we could say that we contribute to the culture. I always look at it like I get the same feeling that I got when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I saw the butt in school days. He used the butt in school days, so I always wanted to try to create something that was going to have that same effect outside of the metropolitan area.
Yeah, and it continues to do so. I'm curious, because I know you've traveled all over the country, all over the world for that matter. I would assume the response is the same no matter where you go when that song starts.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's almost the same almost everywhere we go. And in 2009, it took me by surprise that I was in Australia performing with Wale, and people knew the record in 2009 in Australia, like before social media. So that was surprising to me. But mostly, especially like in the country, in the U.S., a lot of the major markets, they know that record. If they know anything, they know that record.
Yeah, yet again, all the way from D.C. to Australia. I mean, you just got to drop the mic on that one.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Ron, as we get set yet again for Jazzy Summer Nights, set to get underway August 7th in Baltimore. Set the stage for us one more time. What's to be expected? Should I show up, or when I show up? What am I going to see? What am I going to be surrounded by?
You know, a lot of times people don't show up and they say, I wish I was there, and they miss history. This is going to be a historic event. We got Trey, Big G, Anwan Glover, Sweet Thing, Wincy, the voice of the city, all performing together with Trey. This guy has one of the biggest hits ever in go-go, right? And we all come together with the queens of go-go. We even have a young lady that's 17 years old that plays the keyboard, Mackenzie, and it's all about the future, who's playing with the queens of go-go. So we got people as young as 17 to 50 playing on the stage together, uniting Baltimore with DC, we were uniting the Beltway, and it's going to be a great time. They always have great events out there in Baltimore at Hopkins Plaza. Raheem Jenkins was there last month, had over 3,500 people there outside with love and peace and fun. the way we used to do it back in the day. So I ask everybody to get on the Beltway, come up. We already got the people in Baltimore that's going to be there. And that's what it's all about, man. Let's create these black renaissances all over the country, bringing people together and supporting each other with peace and love and connecting with good people all over the world. And that's what GoGo is doing with the GoGo Museum, with these events. And I appreciate everybody who's helping and joining the forces with us. We also have artists coming from Brazil and artists coming from Colombia, where we're doing songs and music together for a festival that's coming downtown with Anacostia Bid and live recordings in the museum. So these are the type of things that we're doing, and we thank people like you for getting the word out. You know, it's all about people having access to what's happening in DC and the DMV. And with people like you, Fox 5, we couldn't do it without you. Appreciate you.
No, you all make it that much easier to do just that. Yet again, we have been speaking with Ron Moulton, Don't Mute DC, and of course, all things GoGo Museum. And of course, the man who needs no introduction yet again, Trey. I call him Mr. Sexy Lady. That's kind of weird, but I got to think about it before I say that. But Trey, yet again, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Truly appreciate you guys. Make it a great day. Continue success.
Thank you.
No doubt. All right, guys. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. How about we talk weather, shall we? Tucker Barnes joins us right now.
Guy, good afternoon.
Yeah, I always get confused. Morning, afternoon.
Well,
who
you
knows
know,
around here?
I arrived so early in the morning, I just feel like the whole day's morning. But I guess we're in the afternoon. How are you today?
I'm good. It was not a bad walk in. A little humid, but you know, no sunshine, so it wasn't too bad.
I'm going to start with a weather fun fact. I know the month of August has just gotten going, but we're currently nearly 7 degrees below average temperature-wise.
Wow.
So, you know, if you're at home or you're out and about and you're like, it feels like fall out here, or just, you know, where's summer? Not your imagination. We've been running very cool the last week or so.
I kind of like it, Tucker. It's
I
not
do
bad.
too.
Yeah,
Don't get used to it. I'll show you the 7-day. We have 90s back by early next week. But let's take it while we got it. Got a cloudy day for your afternoon hours and a couple of showers out there. None of the shower activity locally should be very heavy. If you are off to the south, in fact, let me show you the radar here, and I'll explain what's going on. Okay, 74 degrees, and again, average high is 89, so we're currently running 15 degrees below average for our daytime highs today, although I do think we'll warm it up to about 80 this afternoon, which is still well below average. It is cloudy. Guy mentioned the humidity, which has been creeping up, and you'll feel that later this afternoon. Not terrible, because it's not 95 with humidity, it's 80 with humidity, but still, you'll feel that. Okay, we have had some showers the first half of the day, mostly to our south. You can see those kind of Calvert County, southern Maryland, northern neck of Virginia, stretching down towards Richmond and now out towards the beaches. That's as far north as a moisture train has gotten so far. But I do think later this afternoon, at least a threat of a few showers. The good news with this, no severe weather, no big-time thunderstorms, no flash flooding, none of that. But there may be a few showers around this afternoon. Help water your lawn a little bit, help water your garden as we get into the late afternoon. Today will kind of be the worst of it. Tomorrow we'll be trending towards more sunshine. We have high pressure to our north, and that will win out the forecast region of the next 24 hours. But if you look down to the Carolinas, you can kind of see some rain shower activity down there. The Hurricane Center is watching for potential tropical development off the South Carolina coast. It doesn't look like it'll probably happen, but some of that moisture is streaming up into our region. That's why we're looking at cloudy skies and more humidity around here this afternoon. 80 degrees for your Wednesday afternoon, and it gets better from here. Now, Guy, here's some good news. You ready for this?
Yep.
Yesterday, it looked like we were going to get some storms Saturday and Sunday afternoon. We have trended drier and more beautiful. So I think we'll have more sunshine and a really pleasant weekend, 85 to 90 Saturday and Sunday, and we'll keep it dry. And then we've got more heat building next week. Look at next Tuesday. Here comes the heat and humidity, 94 by next Tuesday.
Yeah, you're in trouble, Tucker. You know why? You were supposed to bring your tip jar today, especially because of the weekend. So.
Well, we have tomorrow together.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Tucker Barnes, All Thing Weather, right here on the Live Zone. Hey, guys, if you haven't already done so yet, make sure you download the Fox Local app and take that beautiful weather forecast with you on the go. Speaking of beautiful forecast, today's a beautiful day to play just what? Soccer. However, I got to tell you, I am not as good as the folks that play for the Washington Spirit.
The Washington Spirit, that's right.
Joining us now to discuss all that and so much more is our intern extraordinaire, Kennedy Morgan, back here on the Live Zone. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, Guy. Well, I'm here to tell you that the Washington Spirit is back finally, of course, with their star striker, Trinity Rodman. She was out for 4 months with a back injury, and people were unsure of her recovery timeline, but this past Sunday, she went into the game versus the Portland Thorns and scored in the 92nd minute, just 5 minutes before the game was about to end.
Really? Okay,
yes.
So this has a script made for a movie. I absolutely love this. There are so many folks talking about this.
So many people talking about this. So Trinity's contract is supposed to end at the end of this year, and there are talks that she's supposed to move to Europe. So having her play in the NWSL and having American fans see her in the NWSL has been like a huge priority for the team. And Trinity just won the Olympics, and she's such an incredible striker. So to have her score in the 92nd minute after such a long back injury is really incredible.
Yeah, I told you I got the chance to meet her earlier this year.
Yes.
What is just so cool, calm, and collected.
Absolutely.
You know what? She just exuded leadership as soon as she walked into the room.
She exudes leadership. She's maybe 2 years older than me, and I look at her and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
you are absolutely incredible. Everything that she's doing for American soccer is so amazing. Of course, she's dating tennis superstar Ben Shelton, and people have been watching that. I've been very invested. But yeah, she has been absolutely killing it.
All right, so it's the $1 million question. You just said it, that she might actually say bye-bye right here to the nation's capital and, well, head over the pond, as they say. You think that's going to happen?
I do. I do think that Trinity is going to make that big move to
Really?
Europe. We've seen other players like Naomi Girma and Mia Fishel move to Europe to get that like technical training, that different perspective. And remember, the U.S. women's national team coach, Emma Hayes, is from England. She's trained lots of these players, and Trinity knows with her potential, and I'm sure the Washington Spirit knows with her potential, she could blossom in like an Arsenal or Manchester United, something like that. I definitely see her moving.
Let's talk money, shall we? In this case, we know that right here with regard to the WNBA, I would argue those amazing women don't get what they deserve.
They do not. And what's crazy is Trinity had the highest contract in NWSL history. She had a $250,000 contract for 4 years, making just over $1 million. Signed at, I think, 18 or 19 years old. So the investment has definitely paid off. Trinity's an incredible player, but players are getting paid more in Europe, especially soccer players. And with the World Cup looming, I think it would be in her best interest to probably move to Europe.
As they said in Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
No, exactly. She deserves it. And I think she could get like even a longer contract in Europe. Like she's just so good, and she's a goal scorer. She brings in those views. So definitely.
You know who else is going to get show me the money?
Oh.
Kennedy Morgan. Hard to believe she's an intern, right, guys? Isn't she good? Absolutely. I'm just so proud of what you've been able to do.
Thank you.
And, girl, you have a future ahead of you.
Thank you so
I am
much.
definitely telling you that. Great job as always.
Thank you.
She's about to wrap up her internship program. When does it end? Next week?
Next
Week after
Friday.
Next
Next Friday is my last day. I'm going to try to keep covering the Washington Spirit
As you should.
because one of my favorite teams. It's funny, Washington Spirit and Portland Thorns are my two favorite teams. So I was okay with either team winning, but I knew if I went to a Washington Spirit game and was cheering for the Thorns, I would get some weird looks. So in the time I have left, I'm going to try to do as much as I can.
Well, Kennedy, I'm going to get some weird looks if I don't plug this. In this case, we're talking about Do You Like It or Not? 7:30 tonight with producer Chris. Yes, he's hosting it. We encourage you to take part in the show as well. It is an amazing show. Check it out, folks. You will truly enjoy it. Don't forget, you can stream us on Fox Local and our YouTube page. On behalf of my producer, Emmy, I'm Guy Lambert. The Take now on Fox 5.